of streaming and learning to code a much later start than I was anticipating. So we may actually not conquer HTML and CSS tonight. We're going to try and make the biggest dent possible. I do think we'll probably start JavaScript tomorrow still regardless, which means I do an even bigger push tomorrow. But we'll see. Okay, so we left off 83% of the way through. I. Still after 71 days, not sure how to refer to this, but, yeah. 83% of the way through. We have the last section, section 6, and we are going to dive into the first bit, CSS positioning. I don't know, there's like 25 parts to CSS positioning. And if I don't know if we're going to make it all the way through all 25 tonight in this stream. If we do, then I don't know if we'll do build a resume, but this may get spread into tonight and tomorrow. But I still think it'll be done within the next 24 hours, and I also think we'll be starting JavaScript tomorrow. So that's that. Let's dive into positioning, shall we? All right, so see it to believe it. $25 sections. I think as long as we get to section 16, pending it's not too painful for some reason, which it really shouldn't be. So this is not our first CSS rodeo. See it to believe it. Alright, now that you know all about CSS, it's time to learn the last but certainly not the least major piece of the puzzle, positioning. Controlling the position of HTML elements allows you incredibly fine control over how your pages look. No longer will your divs sit directly on top of one another unless you want them to. As we mentioned, elements populate the page in what's known as the CSS Box Model. Each HTML element is like a tiny box or container that holds up the pictures and the text you specify. Check out the image in the Result tab. What the box model looks like we'll cover in the details of margins, borders, and padding in the next section. Alright. Instructions. See for yourself. Use the universal selector to draw 1 pixel dashed border of hex color 00F around every HTML element. Int universal blah diddly blah. Style. You know what? We're going to take that. We're going to take that and we're going to use it. Although they want dashed. Dashed and 00F. Cool. Cool. The box model. Dun 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 dun. Save and submit. No? Oh, 1 pixel, not 2 pixels. My bad. We jumped the gun. We jumped the gun. There we go. Start next lesson. Alright. Taking up space. Cool, right? Each HTML element gets its own box to live in. As you saw, the outermost box of each element went all the way across the page. This is why, until now, your HTML elements have been sitting on top of one another. By default, they take up the full width of the page. We can change all this with the first positioning property. We'll learn the display property. We'll learn about all 4 possible values. Block. This makes the element a block box. It won't let anything sit next to it on the page. It takes up the full width. Inline block. This makes the element a block box. but will allow other elements to sit next to it on the same level. Inline, this makes the element sit on the same line as another element, but without formatting it like a block. It only takes up as much width as it needs, not the whole line. None, this makes the element and the content disappear from the page entirely. Instructions. Let's get cracking. Set the display of all divs to block. Okay. Display block. No. Yes, block. Cool. Save and submit. Next lesson. Inline block. Good work. If you didn't notice much of a difference, don't worry. Our divs were block elements by default. As we specify different display values, they'll start to move around. As mentioned, an element that comes in as a block, say a paragraph, will automatically take up the full width of the page, no matter how much or how little content you put in. If we specify a display of inline block, however, our blocks are still blocks, but will be able to sit next to each other on the same line. Instructions. Change the display property of all your divs so the value is now inline block instead of block. So I think all I need to do is just change this guy to inline. Inline, hyphen. Aha, look at that, they're all next to each other. Alright. Don't get too excited. Inline. Did you see that? Your divs all moved onto the same line. We did see that, and it was awesome. You can already start to see how this type of positioning can be useful for navigation bars like the one at the top of the main Codecademy page, where you can click, learn, teach, and so on. Oh my god, that came out of nowhere. Oh. Good lord. We pass out on stream. The inline block value allows you to put, it allows you to do lots of things. Put whatever you want wherever, apparently. And the stream is turning very quickly. The inline block value allows you to put several block elements on the same line. The inline value places all your elements next to one another, but not as blocks. They don't keep their dimensions. Instructions. Try it and see. All of your divs have a display value of inline. Set all your divs inline. Okay. Inline. Yeah, they're all, I guess, crammed into each other. Next. Strange. None. The good news is inline places all the elements on a single line. The bad news is that it doesn't maintain the boxness, as you saw. All your divs got squished to the smallest possible width. The inline display value is better suited for HTML elements. Wow. Not good. Not good. We are taking on yawns like there's no tomorrow. The inline display value is better suited for HTML elements that are blocks by default, such as headers and paragraphs. Finally, we'll try out the display value none. As you might expect, this prevents the page from displaying the selected element. As you might not expect, this removes the selected element from the page entirely, including any children and any content. Poof, gone, but not gone forever. Changing the display value away from none will bring everything back. Very impressive. Okay. Instructions. Give it a whirl. Set your divs display to Z. None. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Cool. Gunsies. Okay. On to the next section. What's that, little cat? Hey. Oh, yeah. Good, good. You explore the bed. Good cat. Okay. Sketching it out. Now that you understand more about the display property and the box model, we can delve. Cat, you furry Hey, what you doing? Yeah, good, good. Keep moving. No, no, no. No. Cat, it's just an empty thing of red vines. Just go away. It's trash, Cat. I just haven't thrown it out. Little Whiskers, you're moving the webcam. You can't fit in that. It's like a 1/4-inch tear. You're not going to fit your body into the red vines container. Hey, go away. Shoo. Go be a cat somewhere else. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're moving. Oh, love you. From afar. Successful catectomy. Sketching it out. Now that you understand more about the display property and the box model, we can delve into the details of how each individual box behaves. Check out the diagram in the Result tab. It's the one from the first exercise in this lesson. As you can see, each box is made of layers from the outermost to the innermost. The margin is the space around the element. The larger the margin, the more space between our element and the elements around it. We can adjust the margin to move our HTML elements closer to or farther from each other. The border is the edge of the element. It's what we've been making visible every time we set the border property. The padding is the spacing between the content and the border. We can adjust this value with CSS to move the border closer or farther from the content. The content is the actual stuff in the box. What's in the box? That is, what is that, a fly? No, maybe it's lint. Who knows? The content is the actual stuff in the box. If we're talking about a P element, the stuff is the text of the paragraph. You'll see abbreviations like TM, TB. Me joking on stream. You'll see lots of stuff. And TP in the diagram. All right. On the verge of death. Oh God, falling apart. Okay. What are we looking at? Something about abbreviations. Yes. You'll see abbreviations like TM, TB, and TP in the diagram. These stands for top margin, top border, and top padding. As we'll see, we can adjust the top, right, left, and bottom padding, border, and margin individually. Instructions. Study the diagram in the Result tab until you're comfortable with where the padding, border, and margin go. Then hit Save and Submit Code to start adjusting these properties. Okay. Box model. We've got TM, the margin, transparent. TB, the border. TP, padding. And then content. RP, RB, RM, BP, BB, BM, LP, LB, LM. Margin edge was dotted. Okay, margin. Border edge, solid. Good. Padding, dotted, and content edge. Beautiful, beautiful. Content, padding, border, margin. Content, padding, border, margin. All right. And we're off. Hopefully. Margin. Let's start with our margins. Adjusting our margin not only moves our element relative to other elements on the page, but also relative to the walls of the HTML document. For instance, if we take an HTML element with a specific width, such as our div in the editor, and set its margins to auto, tells the document to automatically, clever, put equal left and right margins on our element, centering it on the page. Try it out. Set our div's margin property to auto to center our div on the page. Div margin auto. Cool. Centered. Next. Margin top right. My bad. Margin. Top, right, bottom, left. If you want to specify a particular margin, you can do this. Margin top, right, bottom, left values. You can also set the element's margin at once. You just start from the top and go around clockwise, going from top, right, bottom, left. For instance, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Top margin 1 pixel, right of 2, bottom 3, a left of 4. Remove our divs auto on the CSS tab. Whichever method you like best. Give it a top margin 20, right margin of 50, bottom of 10, left of 5. Okay, let's do this. Margin was 20 pixels for the top, 20 pixels for the top, 50 for the right, 10 pixels for the bottom, and 5 pixels for the left. Borders, well done. You can see how fine-tuning your margins will help you place elements where you'd like them on the page, where you'd like them to be on the page. We've worked with borders before, but it never hurts to have extra practice. Change your div borders 4 pixels wide, solid, hex color, blah. Oh, that's 14, just kidding. 4, solid. What are we gonna do? 0, F00, F00. Ah, look at that. Fun. Huh. Wait, was it our divs border? Oh, we were supposed to change our divs border. My bad, guys, my bad. Despite how cool it looked, that's not what we're supposed to change. We're supposed to change it here. 4 pixels. Solid. Hashtag F00. There we go. Padding. Good, let's adjust the padding. That little piece of lint, turns out it's a fly, or maybe a gnat of some sort. It's a tiny thing, but pieces of lint don't change their flight path. That's, yeah, they don't course correct. All right, what are we doing? Padding. Good, let's adjust the padding. Remember, the padding is the space between your border and your innermost layer, actually, the actual content. Padding can be set in 2 ways. Just like your margins, you can either select them individually, like this, blah, diddly, blah, 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 or set them all at once, like this, value, 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 value. You should also know that if you want your padding to be the same on all 4 sides, you can declare that value only once. Padding 10 will give your HTML element 10 pixels of padding on all sides. Interesting, you know, I was wondering before, and even now as I went through CSS, what the difference was between margin, auto, versus dropping in, dropping in font. Maybe not necessarily that. That's actually the answer. Auto versus specifying a single pixel amount. But what I was wondering about in the last CSS section, and even this leading up till now, was I noticed that auto, it would center it, but for margin, it wouldn't center it top and bottom as well, equal distance. But specifying the pixel amount gives it that amount on all sides. Now, I don't know, maybe it's like border center or object, I don't know, but you get what I mean. Point is at least if we know the pixel width of the page, then we just throw in one. That is the benefit of specifying the pixel amount, is that it will apply that to all four sides, versus margin auto is simply left and right only. So that's that. All right, instructions. Go ahead, use your preferred method to give your div padding of 40 pixels on all sides. 40 pixels, But padding isn't 40. Go ahead, use your preferred method, give your div padding of 40 pixels on all sides. You know what, maybe it has to do... Oh, padding, you soulless... Good. Undo. Haha, that was a joke. That was margin. That's another difference. Padding. Not margin. Disregard all that rambling. 40 pixels. Good, yes. He's good. Ta-da-da-da. Dee-dee-dee. Alright, negative values. Did you see that? Your div got huge. That's because the background color is the same for the content and the padding. When you give CSS positive padding or margin value, it puts that space between the element and its reference. For instance, if you have a div, give it a margin left of 20 pixels. It puts 20 pixels between the left margin of that div and the side of the screen. This effectively moves the div 20 pixels to the right. If you want to move an element in another direction, you can give a CSS negative value. You can give CSS a negative value. Margin left -20 will move the element 20 pixels to the left. Okay. Instructions. Give your div a margin top -20 to see what happens. Div margin -20. Aha! Cut it off. How cool is that? Alright. Review. Cool. You can move the HTML. You can move HTML elements clear off the page with negative margin values. Time for a quick review to make sure you've got a handle on this margin and padding stuff. Instruction. We put a div for you to use on the HTML tab on the CSS tab. Give a div border of 1 pixel solid black. Give it a background color C00. Set a top margin to 10, right 5, bottom 5. Left 50, set padding to 0, right 30, bottom 0, left 10. Here's a hint. Seeing errors with border width, do the zoom thing. Woo! Okay, CSS, go time. We've put a div for you. Yes, they did. We put a div for you to use on the HTML tab. On the CSS tab, give that div something. Hey, wallet, how you doing? Hopefully your evening's going well. We are gonna take this div and we are gonna give it so much padding. We'll know what to do with itself. What is our first instruction? Okay, border 1 pixel solid black. Here comes the noise. Okay, border 1 pixel solid black. Look at that, look at that. Beautiful. Okay, 2. Give it a background color, C blah blah, background noise, background hyphen color. They wanted, what color do they want? They wanted C00. Ah, enchanting. Beautiful. Okay. What's your opinion on Codecademy? How much time do you have? Right? No, we'll do the short version. It's a good launch point for anyone who's curious really about one particular language, or if they kind of have a general idea or a focused path. I don't know if it's necessarily the right place for me. I've invested so much time and effort to make it the right place for me to be. But a lot of people are just like, you know, I want to learn how to build a web page, or like a basic web page, or I want to learn Ruby. Like, they kind of have a direction that they want to go. Me personally, I wanted to experience the intro level for everything. Codecademy, although they have a bunch of different like sampler courses, it's not set up as one cohesive journey to go through. So I'm kind of resetting, and I've learned like 6 or 7 different languages so far through Codecademy. And my goal is to just go through all of it, because I don't have an end goal. I mean, I'd like to do side projects, make an app or something. I don't know what for, but or what it'll do or anything, but or even a career, whether it's front end or back end, full stack, I don't know. But right now here, catalog. See, I've gone through, so they've got like 6 lines, 6 full lines, 1, 2, nearing the end of HTML and CSS, 3, 4, and then lastly 5 and 6. So yeah, I've knocked out some of the early and easy stuff, but like each of these are good, like deploy a website. Like Kyle or Timmy, any rando could come here and like they'll go, oh, I want to learn how to deploy a website, and they'd click on it, and that's good. It will do that job. It'll give them, it's a great launch point. It really is. It's very kind of basic. Like, it gives you the idea of what you need to pursue in the future. So, oh, Python, dear God, that was brutal. So anyways, I'm going to be finishing up HTML and CSS. I don't know if I'm going to finish HTML and CSS tonight, possibly tomorrow, but then I definitely know I'll be starting JavaScript tomorrow. But I've just been going through to each one down the path, but Codecademy isn't really set up to do that. You would normally come to Codecademy and be like, I want to learn how to make a web page. And so they have a make a web page course. You can see, oh, it's got HTML and CSS. You might learn some of that stuff. And you'd be like, well, my developer says we should use Ruby. And then they'll check it out themselves. So it's good. Does Codecademy go over compiling and etc. besides syntax? Considering that I've been, from the title, you can tell, 71 days of this, well, technically, this. That's basically where all my coding knowledge comes from, is Codecademy. As far as the compiling fact, the fact that I can't clearly answer your question, I'm going to go with probably not. Syntax, they definitely do go over. But I'm actually appreciative of that. As far as compiling, I take it you're referencing, do they explain, like, how does the code get processed? Like, what is the editor? Oh god. Well, basically kind of like this. Like for HTML and CSS, the fact that, you know, we're setting up the CSS, the div to reference the div we set up in HTML over here, like, they do explain how the code works. So I'm taking a course with someone so they can learn, but not sure what to use, that's all. I think Codecademy's, I mean, what course are you taking? Is it just a general? Because another thing, I've looked at different sites. Another great website would be Free Code Camp. That's probably the next place I'm going to go to. That's another good one. At least that I've heard through the grapevine, people stopping in like this, kind of questions and answers even from different viewers. But I've heard through the grapevine that Free Code Camp is good. I think codecademy actually has some code stuff as well. Oh, gotcha. Okay, because I'm trying to take a course with someone so they can learn, but not sure what to use. Oh, what to take on. Well, you know what? When you sign up for Codecademy, they like preload the very first HTML and CSS. But as far as if you're looking to take a computer or a coding course at like school or something, whether it's high school or college. 42, USA, good to know. 42, what a great number. Well, age, but Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42, big deal. They start on back-end C, dear God. Yeah, see, that's the one thing. Well, there's a couple things. That just shows my lack of knowledge, but all of the C languages, C# and C++ and all that, Codecademy doesn't offer any C courses, so that's why I'm gonna need to go to other places. Like, I think Free Code Camp has some of the C, if you will, languages. But hey, Topher! Talk to Topher. Topher knows what to do. Topher knows what's up. But yeah. That's C. And I heard C# is brutal. But again, that's all just stuff I've heard through the grapevine. I've never actually used C#, so apparently Python was supposed to be easy, but that was a friggin' nightmare for me, so. But I know JavaScript is pretty damn important. Lots of people use that. Codecademy does not have any compiled languages. See? Well, I want to know. Well, I know what I want to do. I don't know what they want to do. Well, at least you know that. I had no idea what I wanted to do. All I know is that I wanted to just complete everything on Codecademy. And from there, I'd figure out, by that point, I'd kind of have an idea of what to do. And speaking of what to do, mostly more for front end. Yeah, definitely. Again, I'm doing HTML and CSS here, but they have Learn HTML and CSS, and they have Make a Website, which is basically more HTML and CSS, and Deploy a Website, and HTML. So, like, out of the first 8 courses they offer, 4 of them are all HTML and CSS. So yeah, lots of front-end stuff. Topher, all the languages are interpreted, not compiled. See, 71 days of this, and I don't know what any, I mean, I know I can interpret what that means, the context, but yeah, I wouldn't have known to use any of those words. Like interpreted. I didn't realize these were all interpreted languages. Didn't even know that was a category. So they're not going over stuff like that on Codecademy. Java, JavaScript, Ruby, etc. Yeah, Topher's been here for like 98% of the 70 past days, so he's well aware. Alright. Reviewing. Cool, right? You can move HTML elements, clear off the page with negative margins, values. Time for a quick review. Make sure you've got a handle on all this stuff. Oh, that's right, we were doing things. Border 1 pixel, solid black. Background color, C00. I feel like this should actually be a color, right? 3, set its top margin to 10. Margin. Languages C, C++ are run through a compiler which converts the code to machine language, and interpreter converts it to machine language at runtime. An interpreter converts it to machine language at runtime. Huh. So it's just like the noise of the matrix sitting in the, waiting in the wind, waiting for it to be called into action until it gets processed. Fascinating. Okay, margin equals, no, not equals, colon. We've got 10 pixels on top, 5 pixels to the right, 5 pixels on the bottom, and 50 pixels to the left. Fantastic. And lastly, that its top padding, colon, only did the HTML years ago and forgot most of it. Yeah, I actually did, I did the intro HTML course here on Codecademy like 3 or 4 years ago, and I made it like 12% of the way through JavaScript, like really basic, and then I didn't do any more of Codecademy for like 3 or 4 years. I did some basic coding stuff, like it gave me the general concepts of syntax for coding or different program languages, so I used SQL in my last job, and even having that little bit of understanding of syntax, grammar, basically, if you will, punctuation, syntax for HTML and CSS still helped a lot with my understanding of the syntax for doing basic SQL queries and stuff like that, so. But yeah, good times, good times. Codecademy is still fun. If you're looking for an activity to do in the free time, the last 70 days, been fun. Yeah. Free code camp, see? That's the next on the to-do list, but there's no turning this ship around. At least not until we get through this storm, so. He's good. Padding. Top padding to 0. That's interesting. You wouldn't think you'd have to set a value, but it does make sense that you have to. It's right padding to 30 pixels. Bottom padding to 0. Not a lot of padding in our padding section. With 0 pixels, right? Kind of lackluster. Pixels. Farewell, wallet. Thank you for stopping by. Topher, thank you for helping out. The waffle wallet? Yeah, it was wallet. It was wallet. Second guessing myself. We're running that. Oh god, I didn't make it 1 pixel wide. Wait, what did the error say? Try again, did you set your div's border to 1 pixel wide? Kind of feel like I set the div's border to 1 pixel wide. Maybe it's a zoom issue? Command 0. Huh? Div's border 1 pixel wide. Maybe I need to add content. Div. Border 1 pixel solid black. We've put a div for you to use on the HTML tab. Give it a background, set its margin 10, 5, 5, 50, 0, 30, 0, 10. Topher, try centering a div horizontally and vertically on the page using the box model. Like separately, like get rid of the auto or replace it with auto. Hold on, before I do that, let me take this noise. Copy. Actually, just you. Copy. Auto. $20. Do 2. Huh. Border. You know, maybe, oh, is it the border width? Is that what I did wrong? No, that'd be border height and border width. Dear God. Well, yes, I realize that that isn't part of the, well, to some degree. I just thought we were trying to shake the system to get it doing its thing. Dear God. Alright, let's execute this. Gone. Dead on arrival. I'm pretty sure this is, you know what, maybe there's an extra space in here. No, doesn't feel like an extra space. $12. Look at that, look at that, look at this. If I do 44. Oh my god, I just figured it out. It's the semicolon. You stupid with the damn, and I just added 6 more colons. Ta-da! Solved it. Semicolon. Like semi-liar. It's a stupid punctuation anyways. Alright. Crisis averted. Where do we stand on this? Okay, floating. I don't know if we're going to keep pushing. I mean, I know we're definitely going to make it to 16. It's just so damn late. Feeling all loopy. We're typing the correct code. We're missing our semicolons. God, brutal. Alright, to the right. Okay, so we know how our individual elements are constructed. But how do we determine where they go on the page? One way is to use floats. When you float an element on the page, you're telling the web page, I'm about to tell you where to put this element, but you have to put it into the flow of other elements. This means that if you have several elements all floating, they all know the others are there and don't land on top of each other. This is not a gripping story at all. You can think of the HTML page as sort of like a sea, and floating elements as boats on it. All the boats have positions on the sea, and they all see each other. They all see and steer clear of each other. Some of the positioning methods we'll learn in upcoming sections can accidentally drop elements on top of each other. Noted. Instructions, let's start. Set your divs float property to right. Divs about to get floaty. Float. Right. Good, good, good. Beautiful. Look at that. Hard listing to, all the way to the right. Fantastic, fantastic. Good stuff. Green checkbox. Love it, love it. To the left. Good. As you saw, your div moved over to the right side. Move it back by changing your div's float from right to left. Who saw that coming? I know I didn't. This is gripping. My eyes are bloodshot from playing Zelda for the past 14 hours. That's awesome. How's, I take it it's going well if you got to play for a while then. But, how is the game going for you? Have you been enjoying it? It sounds like you got on a good gaming session where you really got to, invest some time. Kidding. Wasn't that, but it felt like a long time. Fair enough. Well, in the past, for Skyward Sword, I did a couple 10+ hour sessions. Like it a lot. That's good. That's awesome. You know, I meant to ask you. You mentioned that your kids got first crack at it. How have they been enjoying it? Did they like it? Float left. She's left. She's saved. Green check mark. Float for 2. As you may have already guessed, we can use floated elements to naturally divide our pages into different sections. Try it. Took me forever to get the paraglider. No, that's fine. It took me, I was surprised. It was like the longest intro without being a tutorial at all. I've spent so much time exploring. I've been playing Breath of the Wild, kind of like how I've been going through Codecademy, just like blank slate and just really enjoying like each individual activity. My 7-year-old loves it. She played it every waking moment if I'd let her. My 5-year-old care less. Well, it's still on the edge, just too young, but 7. That's good. That's right. That's right there. Still on the earlier side, but yeah, no. Like 6 to 8. That's like perfect time for gaming. Or like to get into gaming. so that's good. Float for 2. Yeah, because for 6 or 7, I was playing A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, which is still my favorite. Although this game this one might, if there were one that had to dethrone it, I could say this one. If I had to have a game that had to remove A Link to the Past, I might say this one. I still haven't beaten the game. But it's still, I have a long way to go ahead of me. But it's been fun. Alright, what am I doing now? We read the bit, float for 2. Oh yes, you can divide pages into different sections. Instructions. Set your div to float the right and your P to float to the left. Okay, so we're breaking it up. So we've got our div, we've got our paragraph. Can I put something in the div? So we've got, oh no, it's the green thing. That's what's going down. So add our float to the right, floating to the right. Beautiful, beautiful. And paragraph floating to the left. From a programming perspective, the game blows my mind. The world is enormous and there's so many different interactions. Yeah, right? I mean, I'm thinking of the basic, like, intro JavaScript stuff, the, like, alert, and it brings up a question. It's like, okay. I'll need to sign in to my other Codecademy account for the game. Like, they have a create a game in the course catalog and it's only supposed to be like 10 lines. I was just so fascinated with HTML and JavaScript the first time I went through Codecademy like 3 or 4 years ago that I did like a 16 like 20 hour like binge code all night, and my game was like 80 lines of code and it was all like if else statements, like just terribly made. It compiled and it ran, but it was brutal. But it was all alerts. It was a text adventure but with alerts. So it'd pop up, read the story, type in the command, next. So yeah, I can't even imagine what the hell it took to make this game. Breath of the Wild, that is. So and I know they've got game engines, but then that's further down the line after getting through the programming languages and stuff like that. I want to get a better understanding, and I know it's like mostly software based stuff, but I want to figure out or get at least a better understanding of how do the game engines work, and like how does all this and the C# and all that tie into like modern day media type stuff, mainly gaming. I think that would be fascinating. For a long time, didn't care, have any interest at all. If the game was fun, that was all that mattered. I once made a 2D space shooter game that was about 2,000 lines of code. I had 1 level. Oh dear God. Ugh. Yeah, I had like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 different pop-up windows. But with an if-else, it was like left or right. The storyline like started, it split, and then it like branched together at like 2 different points, and then it came together at the same end. And that was, again, only like 80 lines of code. But for my first, within 12 hours of learning how the hell HTML and CSS worked with JavaScript, I was rather satisfied with my final product. despite how quirky it was so buggy. Alright, we're floating for 2. Did we? Well, we never did paragraph float left. Float left. The moral of the story is that Breath of the Wild is friggin' awesome. So it sounds like you got the the paraglider. Sounds like you successfully acquired that. Floating left. Wow, really drawing a blank on what to do there. Floating left. And fire away. Beautiful, beautiful. Start next lesson. Close. A reminder. Clearing the elements. Unfortunately, I think this might be the last section. Because usually the following, like, the second lesson is only the last, like, 3 or 4. I got it today. Awesome. Good times. Good times. And then you can make it off that central start point and explore the world. God, that game's just been great. I've been enjoying it. I've been playing it. I think I played it every day since it came out. Although I think I missed yet. Technically, I did and didn't play yesterday because I did play, but I didn't play my file. I played the Mrs. file for like 6.5 minutes. Just needed to get a quick fix. Running around. Clearing elements. And what were we looking at? Oh, yes, we were looking at the different things. So, the next lesson, usually the part 2 lessons are usually short. Anywhere from 6 to 12 sections. So I think I'm going to save these 2, since it's late. The absolute relative and fixed positions, and the review for tomorrow. Knock out that, and start chipping away at the script. So we'll do a big push. There's also the class tomorrow, which I did sign up for. Did sign up for that. I got the email. I accepted their Slack invite. And yeah, good times. But the timing though, so the issue, it looks like the class starts at 5:30 p.m. which is pretty damn late. Maybe I read that wrong, but I don't know how that's going to work for timing. So, I actually thought it was going to be earlier in the day, like 10-ish or 11, and then get out at like 4. But it's like 5:30 to 8, which I don't think I could pick a worse time. So, at least for my current schedule, which isn't really existent, but just for the dynamics of my life currently, not exactly ideal. But at least we're signed up, so we have access to the content. So it'll be all good. 2:30. That's better. That's actually, that could work. We might be able to finish streaming the other stuff. Oh, 5:30 Eastern time. Good call. Good call. Okay. Yeah. So maybe, I think probably by that time I'll probably be finishing JavaScript here and then move over to that to their thing. We'll figure it out. I'll get that sorted out. But 16. Point is, we're reaching the end of the line. Clearing elements. Unfortunately, we sometimes mix large floating elements with non-floating ones. Aha, and elements do end up on top of each other. See your footer? The blue bit between the 2 columns. footer. The blue bit between the two what the here? No. Submit. Fuck if I know what they're talking about. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There is no blue bit between the two columns. They're lying to me. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Move on. See your footer, it's stuck back there because we haven't told it something. Oh, they're talking about the right side. This blue bit underneath the orange. I thought they were talking about like here. I was like, what are they talking about? But no, they're talking about this nonsense. That blue bit between the two columns. Fantastic. Hey, Cryptic. Yo, how you doing? Okay, so they were lying to us about the blue bit. See your footer, it's stuck back there because we haven't told it something very important. To clear the other elements on the page. If you tell an element to clear left, it will immediately move below any floating elements on the left side of the page. It can also clear elements on the right if you tell it to clear both. It will get out of the way of elements floating on left and right. Pretty cool. Good to know. Doing good, just working on a game. Awesome. Very cool. Hopefully your game is coming along well. The syntax is what you're used to. Yes, element clear, right, left, or both. Fair enough. Instructions. Tell the div with the ID #footer to clear both. You got it. Oh, they already have #footer for the ID. Look at that. How kind of them. Ooh, C#. Fascinating. We were just discussing my curiosity with game development in the C languages. C#, C++, all that noise. Because I have no idea about any of that stuff. Did you just assume my engine/framework? Yes. Oh my god. Alright, what do we were typing something. Clear both. Was it both? Oh god. Yeah, it was both. It was both. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. At the bottom. You know what? While we're here, let's tinker with it. We can do that. I have the power to tinker. Okay, left moves that to the bottom of the left, but what about right? Same thing? Same thing. Look at that. Pretty damn cool. We're gonna do both. Good bit about. If you need some information about game dev stuff, I know a good bit about it. That is far down my my learning path. I'm gonna conquer Codecademy first. Get a general understanding of the basics across a handful of different languages. All this noise. Then I'm probably gonna move over to Free Code Camp. Start to hone in on a language, most likely JavaScript, something else, and continue the party from there. And then once I've got comfortable with a language or two, then I'll probably start chipping away at pursuing more advanced concepts. Particularly, hopefully, game development. Maybe start a side project, an app or two, how I can remake Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh dear god, I'm not undergoing that for a long time. We still have to get through the remaining 12% of HTML and CSS. Alright. So you were focused on web languages. For now, kind of. For some reason, I ended up at Codecademy. prior to day 71, 70 days ago, and I decided to just conquer the whole site. Again, I'd come to Codecademy before, and I had started tinkering with HTML and CSS and their intro to Java course. Kind of stopped using it, but I've been interested throughout the years in learning, getting a better understanding of different languages. I hear of Ruby and Java and SQL and other things, and didn't really know how they interacted or what their functions were and stuff like that. So it just seemed a good way to just do everything and kind of get a better understanding. But once I go through all that, I'll probably have a more focused vision on what I actually want to do. But in the meantime, doing all this. Just started SAS myself. SAS was good. I actually thought SAS was one of the better, to be honest, at least as far as Codecademy goes. I think SAS was one of their better courses. Command line was good. I know that's not like a huge, deep course, especially out of their whole catalog. It wasn't the world's longest course, but that was another good one. Like, deploy a website, make a website, and HTML and CSS. HTML and CSS have basically like all been the same friggin' class, basically. So they did go over finally some new stuff. They say in each of these intro courses that they're going to talk more later about CSS, and they never do, but they finally do. Yesterday's stream, they actually went into some more of the advanced stuff for CSS, which was pretty interesting. But SAS was fascinating. That was a very powerful component to CSS. I enjoyed that. It was good. You just have to hire a talented web developer. Yeah, right. Do they have something on there? They've got, maybe it was just Angular. It was React and Angular. Yeah, no Node. But I think Free Code Camp has some stuff on Node, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. But that is once I conquer Codecademy, Free Code Camp is the next village we're gonna pillage. Hey, that rhymed. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, the stream really starts to fall apart after midnight. It's getting late. It's minimal. You know what? I'm a minimal kind of guy. So that's right up my alley. We're doing the sampler test. Or the sampler plate of all these many languages. So minimal is good for starting. That's where I'm at. Not even square one. Square zero. Team zero. That's me. Alright, clearing the element, clearing both. I think we did that. Honestly, I think, you know, static by default. Scotch.io has good Node.js tutorial. Noted. I want to continue and push, but it's so damn late. 17 out of 25. The issue isn't finishing this section. It's if I finish this section, I'm going to want to finish the next section as well, because we'll be at the end. And tomorrow's stream will be so short. And it's so damn late. I think I just have to pull the plug now. I don't want to pull the plug now, but I need to pull the plug now. So let's see where we stand currently for day 71. Day 71 ends with You never centered the div horizontally and vertically. Yeah, well, you know what? That's a mystery that's going to have to be solved tomorrow. We made it 64% of the way through CSS positioning, so we'll finish the remaining 36% tomorrow, and as well as build a resume, and then we will be done with HTML and CSS. So day 71 concludes with 811 points of arbitrary good times, as well as 108 badges. Beautiful, beautiful. And 8 skills down. Fantastic. We have 1 million panels, but none of them say Discord. Discipline. 1 million panels. For up here? Oh, Discord. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, you're talking about Twitch. I do. See, look, I do have Discord going on over here. I need to add it to my panels. You're right. You are right. I do have Discord. I need to add it to my, you're referring to these guys. All that noise, right? Right? Yeah, we'll get there. I need to add. I've got lots to do. Can I get a link? Hell yeah. I'll get you a link. Get hella linky. Let me close out of this. Let me open up something or other. Discord. Let me grab the link. Dun 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 dum 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 dun 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 dum dum dum. Copy link, add friend, invite friend. No, there's a general link to just welcome people, invite people. That's what we want. Copy that. Boom. Here it comes. Here it comes. Into the Twitch chat. Pasty McPaste. Why is that not loading? Really thinking about it. Good. Good. Oh, please load, little cursor. Oh my god, my little dual core is just working its hardest. It sounds like I have a Black Hawk helicopter trying to take off my desk right now. She's basically floating from the fan. There we go. There we go. Okay, so BDX Inc. Nothing in particular. It's the most generic name possible because BDX Inc. is the equivalent of a business degree in college. Covers all aspects. BDX is simply the abbreviation of my last name, Bordeaux. So, which is a culmination of letters, thanks to our family's heritage. Yay, France! Ooh, kind of, not really. I mean, they've never won a war, so you know, there's that. But yeah. So BDX Inc. Just in general, really not a lot of soul to it. I wanted to leave it very vague, but if you go to if you click on the Instagram link, it gives a good idea of, hey, there you are in Discord. Hey, boom, golden. On the panels that you noticed where Discord was missing from, I'd put money that you probably have Instagram. If you click on that in the fun stuff, can we see Instagram on here? Like, it's got, that's not a very clear image, but It's got like BDX Inc., Auto, Moto, Racing, Music, Movies. It's a good... It has to do... There's so much more, and it's so not interesting if you're not me. But I did it because it's an easy way to tag stuff. I don't do social media or anything, or at least I didn't for the last like 26 years. Didn't have MySpace or Facebook or anything like that. And then for someone who avoided all forms of social media, I just found it kind of odd that I was gonna start streaming daily on Twitch live. Doesn't really make sense. It's going from 0 to like 1,000% on the opposite side of the spectrum. So yeah, and I committed hard everything. So I did Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook, and like, I guess it's kind of setting up like a brand or a small company, and I just wanted that consistency across. So I looked, and there was BDX Inc. as a company, and like, or BDX Space Inc. as a company. BDX Inc. is one, brings up Bucks Inc., which had like this scandal or a scam, so BDX _ Inc. wasn't taken. And now when you throw that into Google, like, it just fills up. When you go to videos, it's just all my stuff. I'm like the first 6 pages of BDX Inc. or BDX _ Inc. on Google, which is awesome for me. But different things like BDX Auto or BDX Music and Racing, like, I can tag stuff on Instagram or Twitter, and it's just my content, which is super awesome. So it's just a good general, like, I don't know, it's just a good general tag in general, I guess. That's the best way I can describe it. I put a lot of time thinking, I guess, as a business or company branding platform, before pulling the trigger on doing all this stuff. That's why I've got the 85 million panels of all that shit. But yeah, good times. That was probably more than you wanted, but that's what's going on there. So, all right, dudes. I think that's it for day 71. Tomorrow, which it's technically, we're already an hour and 4 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes into tomorrow. So I'll be here streaming the rest of this for the remaining 290-ish days left. So yeah, good times. You know where to find me. Let's power this down. Thanks again for everyone stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Topher, always thank you. Cryptic, thanks for stopping by. Stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.